Hello, Libras. Your weekly love outlook begins with a Five of Cups, Chariot, Death, and a Three of Wands. Your person is coming in this week with Six of Wands, Page of Wands, Hierophant, and a Page of Pentacles. A lot of Wands energy. Bottom of the deck, we have some grief there, Nine of Swords, some pain, some anxiety, sleepless nights. Something's going on here. Certainly sadness, right? Let's get right into your energies. You and your person coming in. You come in with Five of Cups. Your person comes in with Four of Wands. So, yeah, you're heartbroken. And they're victorious, right? This is totally two divergent feelings that you're both coming in with this week. I think that indeed this may be a breakup. Um, uh, we're going to pull some clarifiers, but you're very, very sad. Very, very heartbroken. It feels like it's a past thing though, right? It's almost as if the split happened a while ago. I'm going to actually pick a different deck to clarify this with than I normally do, Libra. Um, yeah, let's get some clarity here because it does feel like it was in the past. Now, your person is coming in this week. They're feeling very good about themselves. They feel victorious almost, right? So I'm not entirely sure that this heartbreak is over this person. Okay, so let's see. What happened here with you? Oh, wow. And Four of Wands. Okay, and your person? King of Swords. And Judgment. Wow. All right, Libra, this is where it gets a little deeper. I think what happened here, okay, and this is why there's so much regret over there. You come in. So listen, I think that you may have left, right? You may have left this individual in this love connection for somebody else. For some new connection that came in like a rocket that was like a whirlwind. It may be, there's a feeling here that that you somehow did, and it's not a betrayal. I don't think this is third party or betrayal or anything, but somehow you went off with somebody else in the past, and you kind of just jetted off with them, and that fell apart. And you making that move has really affected this connection here. Now that that fell apart, your person here is feeling very victorious, and they have Judgment energy. So listen, they're like, I told you so. I told you that that person was no good. You should have been with me this whole time. Libra, you messed up. You went off somewhere. Now, Libra, remember, these readings can be vice versa. You may be in this position, but the feeling here is, yeah, they're feeling really victorious because there's a feeling here that they told you so. They definitely let you know that whatever you were doing here was not going to work out. King of Swords is there. They put it, they told you. They said, all right, you're going to, my thoughts here is that this is not good. This is going to fail. And indeed it did. And I think probably the way you ran off, you have Fool energy here. You were probably it was very much like, we're in love and that's it and blah, 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 and it was very fast. It wasn't very thought through. Could be that, you two already had feelings for each other, but, you just got swept up. There's a feeling of something new and shiny coming along and having sort of taken your interest, Libra. But it was a mistake. It was a mistake, right? And now you're kind of like, you're regretting it. A lot of regret. Regret here, regret here. Yeah, you mourn the loss of this, but I think you just mourn as well the mistake that you made. There's very much a feeling of mourning the fact that you made a lot of mistakes in these relationships. You chose wrong. Let's get some more clarity. Because Chariot comes in, you have that Ace of Swords and Two of Cups. So yeah, they're like, look, this is interesting because how do you see them? Well, you see them as Chariot. They're ready to move forward. They're moving forward. They have victory on their side. They have logic and clarity. They knew, it's like this vindication they're getting is making them feel even more renewed about moving forward and going on with their plans. And they're kind of like, all right, are you going to come along this time? Are you going to act right? Or are you going to go flake out and run after somebody new, run after some new tail, as it were, right? Two of Cups is here. How they see you? Well, they see you as somebody who is now, seemingly wanting to step to the plate, right? Page of Wands. Yeah, you're acting as though, or perhaps let's put it to you this way, you're coming across to them as if you're ready, to sort of be courageous and do this thing with them, right? And not run away and hide, or run away with another sort of shallow, superficial relationship, which is what this really was in the end. It does feel like you really dove in there with full energy, running towards something that really wasn't, that was had all the signs of being a disaster. And that Two of Cups is there. They want you to though to make that promise. This time around you're gonna have to make a promise. They're requiring a lot more. As I look ahead, there's Death and Hierophant here. They're going to be requiring a lot more from you in this relationship than they did before. A lot more assurances, a lot more promises, Libra. You're going to have to really show and prove, because I think when you ran off and you did this, you had this other affair, relationship. I don't want to call it an affair because I don't think there was cheating here, but when you ran off and kind of like put all of this on hold with them so that you could go do something with somebody else, it was very hurtful. And the reconciliation here is tough. They're turning your back on you. They're back on you. They're not forgiving you just yet. There's not all that much forgiveness just yet, right? Let's clarify Death. Well, Death came out over Death. So this relationship has absolutely changed, right? And King of Wands over that Hierophant. So, yeah, in tarot's nothing to do with a physical death. In tarot, death just represents that first stage of a change that is just a permanent change. It's a permanency. It's the permanency of the beginning of a transition, because nothing comes back from death, right? And also, in order to transform, in order to become new, in order to become something more than you are, something has to die, something has to end, something has to no longer be needed, or has to sort of be transformed in a way, right? And that's when you get to Phoenix energy. But here we're talking about this relationship and your role in this relationship, and it has fundamentally changed as a result of these actions. Now, your person is coming in with King of Wands and Hierophant energy, so they are requiring, right? They know what they need to be successful, but they are absolutely requiring for you to be much more grounded. They need something here with you that is in line with their beliefs, their moral center, what they believe is right for them. It's, it's going to be, it's going to be their way or the highway sort of thing here. Because they know what they need. They know what they need to be the king, or to be the success they want to be. And they have a plan. They're moving forward. You see that. So in order for you to be a part of that, things have to have changed. Your role has had to change completely. And there's going to be a lot more that you're going to have to do. There's a possibility here. The love is not gone. They still care for you, but they in order to get something going with them, you're going to really, really have to, you're going to have to be more than what you were before. You better just, like, everything is just going to have to change. That death, I don't know how to describe it. It's like you have to change and mature and resonate up so fully. And are you ready to do that? Right? Two of Swords. There you go. Are you ready? There's a decision. And Five of Pentacles. Well, Five of Pentacles for them, in as much as, they're prepared to sort of start fresh, start over, right? They're prepared for that, right? They are, they're safe in their space, right? They have work, they have what they need, they have a plan, and they're safe in their space, even if they're not doing particularly great. They're safe in their space, and I'm not entirely sure that they're going to let you in that space. There's a decision here that you have to make, and it's interesting. You look for more information, but it's like, are you going back to the same old tactics? Like Three of Wands energy almost feels, Libra, like you want some proof that, this is going to be worth the effort. And you don't get proof. You have to make that decision. That decision is tough to make, but it's got to be made. And either you care for this person and you want to take a chance with them or not. You took a chance with a person over here, but you were so sure of what you were going to get, but you were wrong. You were wrong here. And it's like, you should have seen the signs here. Whereas here you have a connection with somebody that I feel is with somebody very solid. And yet it's with this person that you require more. And it almost seems as though, like, do take care. Maybe it's some superficiality here. Maybe this person doesn't fit into your view of what, looks or whatever. But trust me when I tell you, everything has changed here. And if you want something with them, you're going to have to make a decision and stop stalling. And, octopus, there we go. And owl. Well, the octopus is water energy, and it's just all over the place. Too many relationships gets involved with too many people, gets very messy. That's a warning. The octopus is a warning, animal spirit, to just pull back your tentacles and stop getting involved with so many different things and just concentrate on your value relationships. The owl, air energy, brings in wisdom and blessing, the blessing of wisdom. Owls have always been associated with blessings and abundance coming in, but wisdom also. But oftentimes it's forgotten to be said that the blessing is one of wisdom. To gain knowledge, to gain wisdom and understanding in a situation is always a blessing, and that's what the owl brings in. And so let us hope there's some understanding coming in here for you, Libra. But you are. I feel like you're just a little bit more emotionally immature than this person. And I fear that will you make the right decision here or not? Or are you going to pass it up again? Because trust me, this regret will only increase if you mess up with this person again. You clearly have a connection with them. Feminine spirit, spirit of the rabbit, spirit of Hecate, receptive, intuitive, nurturing. Spirit of the rabbit, fertility and sex. Watch out. If you're not trying to have babies, be careful. Spirit of the rabbit and spirit of Hecate, goddess of the night. Crossroads energy. All right. So this is a crossroads, I feel like, with somebody who you may still not be appreciating how important this connection is and how much you are really, truly going to regret it if you mess up again here with this person. All right, Libra, I'm going to leave it at that. This is your weekly love outlook. This is Bow and Arrow Tarot. If you enjoyed this reading, if you got something out of it, please go ahead and hit that like button. That really helps my channel. Subscribe. That helps my channel. Any of those things, really, I appreciate you taking the time. But for right now, guys, Libra cross watchers, I wish you all love, life, and happiness. And I hope to see you here next Tuesday for your weekly love outlook. Bye-bye now.